So, happy families are all alike, but every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. These are Anna Karenina's. This is the famous opening line from Tolstoy's great novel Anna Karenina, and you must be wondering what on earth it's got to do with adapting nature to climate change. I want you to bear with me while I misquote it to help me explain something that I have discovered is absolutely critical to us meeting the existential challenge of rebuilding healthy and climate resilient ecosystems. So happy ecosystems are all alike, but every unhappy ecosystem is unhappy in its own way. So what Tolstoy meant by his great opening words was that in happy families, every happy family has similar healthy, strong foundations, enough money, good health, strong mutual respect for one another. And it can be said in happy ecosystems also have strong, healthy foundations. The natural processes that underpin a happy ecosystem are intact. Natural processes like when rain falls and lands on the soil, the ecosystem is able to absorb it and is available to the ecosystem. Soils are full of life, and nutrients are able to be recycled. Animals are able to move safely between disparate patches of habitat to find new mates, to find food, to escape wildfire. The problem is we have taken our eye off the science of how ecosystems function, and through our land management practices, we've broken their very foundations. We've eaten away at them. And we've done this to the point where our ecosystems are no longer able to heal themselves. Nature's fabulous at healing itself if it's got a chance. But we've taken these foundations away. Nature can no longer heal itself, and it certainly can no longer adapt to climate change in the state that it's in. So I strongly believe that we can still turn this situation around. I've been an ecologist for many years now, more years than I'd care to remember. And I must say that I have felt great despair when the scale and the urgency of the problem of that challenge of restoring ecosystems is in front of me, and it's in front of me every day, and it's overwhelming. We really need to act at scale, and we need to act urgent to put our heads back together. However, my hope has been rebuilt, and I want to share with you how that's come about through bringing communities together and communities who want to do more, and connecting them with the knowledge of how to rebuild happy and healthy ecosystems through restoring their very foundations. We can make the change we need. So, the box iron bark forests, the forests that surround Bendigo, they're a vital ecosystem in a Victorian ecosystem. They once extended over 3 million hectares, but only 13% remain. These forests once flowered incredibly in the springs and winters. And their nectar fed enormous numbers of birds and animals. The son of a beekeeper told me that his father would travel through these forests with his hives following their flowering in the early 1900s. And when these forests were in full swing, he said his father said that nectar literally rained down from the trees. Swift parrots would fly from their breeding grounds in Tasmania over to feast on these forests. Now, these critically endangered birds now need to fly as far north as Brisbane to find nectar. These forests were cut down and their soils were turned over, sluiced, mullocked, and eroded horribly through the Victorian gold mining era. When you walk into these forests today, they have an eerie silence about them and a strange uniformity. You see many closely spaced, thinly trees that seem to get to a certain height and then can grow no further. They're strangely ordered and eerily quiet. And where you might have once expected to see daisies and native grasses and flowering shrubs underneath them, one now sees bare dirt, dry leaf litter and eroding gullies. And when rain falls on these forests, it hits the dry soil and it sheets off like rain on a tin roof and further erodes the gullies, and it causes flash flooding in nearby townships. Now, the organisation that I've been part of for 12 years now, a science-based organisation, an environmental organisation that very much has its foundations and deep roots of the communities of this region, set about to restore the ecology of these forests. Project came about when some community members who had great love for them and were very concerned about their health came together with an ecologist from our organisation who had a deep knowledge of the ecology of these systems. He realised that if we were going to make these ecosystems happy again, we needed to repair their very foundations. We needed to rehydrate them. The hydrology of the system was broken, and we needed to fix that if we were going to give the ecology a chance to fix itself. So we set about to test some relatively simple interventions to do this. Over 138 hectare catchment, we did some contour ripping, so with a plough, ripped contours in the soil, which enabled water to penetrate into that soil once again. We built small little ponds in the gullies to hold water in that landscape, so when it was a rainfall event, it didn't rush out straight away. And we cut down some of those spindly trees and we laid them along the contours of the hill slopes. And again, to slow water down and help start rebuilding lost soils. And we did this over, as I said, 108 hectare catchment. We set up a citizen science monitoring program so we could monitor the results. And we did this over a neighbouring catchment that we didn't touch victim trees, so over Harrison site. 18 months afterwards, we've seen amazing things. The catchment that we treated is holding water longer. After a very intense rain event, there was markedly less runoff observed or evident in the treated catchment. And amazingly, the ecology is already starting to respond. We're getting much stronger shrub and more vibrant shrub growth in the treated catchment, and a higher diversity of insects that require water as part of their life cycle found in the treated catchment. What I love about this project is that it's a community project that's applied some relatively cheap and simple interventions and that has given nature a chance to heal itself. And it's happening quickly. By fixing the foundations, nature can then start restoring itself, as nature will do if it has the chance. And this process would have taken hundreds of years on its own if left to its own devices. So we are accelerating landscape or ecological repair. And the other thing that I really love about it, there has been an enormous interest in this project. We set it up as a demonstration project and shared the knowledge as we developed it with as many people as we could. Now there are communities all over the box ironbark forest in Victoria, which extends, from Stawell over to the Benalla region, a big extent, developing their own projects to do the same. This project is scaling up and accelerating ecosystem repair as we need to do. In other ecosystems, it's other damaged foundations that are of concern. Another community approached us and they wanted to bring koalas and woodland birds back to their landscape. And we helped them to work out how to go about this. And we realised that it was a loss of ecological connectivity, which was the underlying broken foundation in that landscape that needed fixing. So we've helped them to design or understand how to reconfigure the trees in their farming landscape so that koalas and woodland birds can safely have passage through those landscapes once again. This community now meet every Sunday morning to fence off the large old trees on each other's properties. And the deal is whoever is getting the help has to cook everybody else lunch. And last I heard was that the lunches are so good, they're looking for more trees to fence off. So, Tolstoy's great novel ended in tragedy. But here in central Victoria, with more species than all of Europe put together, we can still change their future from tragedy to restoration. I've witnessed the power of bringing together clamouring communities with ecologists with the knowledge of how to repair their foundations. To once the foundations that underpin healthy and resilient ecosystems. Make no mistake, it's going to be, it's the many hands working together across our parks, our towns, our cities, our farmlands, that will repair the foundations that ecosystems need to be happy. Now, no effort is too small. If everyone took a single step, if everyone put a pollinator plant in their garden, or in a pot on their balcony, or built a drop pond in their backyard, or fenced off their farm dam and revegetated it with wetland plants, we would be rebuilding connected and climate adaptive ecosystems at scale. And if you're not sure where to start, take that step to reach out to that and find that someone in the community who has the knowledge to help you. I guarantee they'll exist, and I guarantee they'll be very welcome to your inquiry for help. And I think that you will be amazed, as I have been, where that first step can take you. You could be part of something that's much bigger than you can ever imagine.